Hi, Joe Cerrone.
Al Rosen.
Welcome to CAD 107, Introduction to 3D Printing, and our weekly Zoom meeting. Lab number 9. We've released lab number 9. Lab number 9 is a ring. If we take a look at the blue links, this link goes to our 3D model lecture, which you'll see in the video. And this lecture is on different 3D model formats, things like CAD and the formats that we'll use for that, like STL, stereolithography file, for creating 3D parts. Here's our drafting work, or from our workbook. And so the ring originally started off as something that kind of looked like Lego. As they looked through how they modeled this, they used a program called Rhino, which is very much like AutoCAD. And it's a metric drawing. These are your dimensions for that. And so what we've done is we've created a tutor file for you with the dimensions for that. And so as we look at how this is modeled, the way they modeled this was to create the geometry like this in 2D, and then they extruded that, and then they put a user coordinate system on the top, and they modeled these kind of half spheres. And what we have done is we've kind of modified it to put the Oakton logo on the top. You could put your initials on there if you wanted to put something different. That would be fine. Here's where the tutor file is. You just click on that, download it, and then you can open it. I've already got this open, so I'm not going to open it again. I'm just going to switch over to my screen. And so here's what the completed tutor file looks like. And if we kind of scroll back, the way that I've been working these projects is that I do it step by step so that you can see how it was modeled. And so if we go to a top view here, I'm going to go into wireframe, top view. And you're welcome to draft these up from zero, from scratch. We have our dimensions, 20.5 millimeters with a 16 millimeter diameter. And then we model the outside boundary. We make a region out of that, and then we extrude it. And so this is probably a region, not yet, but it was turned into one. If we look at this in conceptual, we can see we 3D rotated it. And then once we 3D rotated it, I put the image of the oak leaf onto the top of it. And the way that I did that was to insert the sketch onto the top plane. And it does show you how to do that in the video. But you could also put something else there. If you put a 3-point UCS here, and I want to make sure my O snaps are on. And since it's a 3-dimensional object, 3D O snaps work better. And once we have that on to the top surface, you can go through and create what it is that you want to model on that. And so if I was to draw anything, let's just say I wanted to put my initials on here, I could go through and create that. I'm just going to kind of sketch it. And so if I made a letter, turn off my snaps. So I could do something like that. And then if I wanted to press it, I could press pull it. Or what I would want to do is make sure that that's a boundary shape, which it is. And then I could extrude it. Press pull would work as well. Let's try that just from a quick standpoint. And I can press it into the part or I can pull it out. Let's pull it out. And so we'll just say 2. And then you can go through and have your initials on there. So that's another technique that you can use to kind of customize your design. If you do have the Oakton ring, what we do is we print these in 2 pieces, or a lot of times what I'll do is I'll pause the printer and then I'll swap out to a different material. And so once we have the object created, if we print it in this orientation, we can then pause it, and provided that this is a little bit higher, we can switch over the material. It won't be much, but that's possible. The other thing you could do is to print it separately and then to use horizontal expansion in a minus 0.2 millimeter or 0.02. I'll have to check the exact value of that, but I can set that up in the slicer for you. Would print that just small enough so that the parts would be able to be inserted into the top of the ring. So that's our ring design, lab number 9. We'll have 10 labs altogether. We come back here to our main splash page, back to the 107. And if we take a look at our outline of topics here, module 8 is due, and I realize we might be pushing a little bit, but if you need more time, just request it. Module 9 will be due next week. And then module 10 will be our last assignment. And typically we do coasters for module 10. So I'll make sure that module 10 is active and you can work ahead if you want. With that, I'm going to end this recording and I'll open things up for questions.